Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into the world of options, but forget all the super complex, high speed trading stuff for a minute. We're going to focus on how options can solve two really common problems for anyone who owns stocks. How do you generate some income from what you have, and how do you protect it?
I mean, think about this for a second. What if the stocks you already have sitting in your account could start paying you, kind of like a rental property? Or what if you could literally buy an insurance policy on your portfolio to protect yourself from a nasty drop? Well, that's exactly the kind of power we're going to talk about today with two really fundamental option strategies.
Anyone who's ever bought a stock eventually runs into this. We'll call it the stock owner's dilemma. Buying the stock, that's just the first step. The real question, the one that keeps you up at night, is what do you do after you own it? So you've done all your homework, you clicked the buy button, and now you're holding shares in a company. Awesome. But pretty soon you've got these two competing thoughts that start pulling you in completely opposite directions.
On one side, you've got this goal, right? You're thinking, I want this investment to start working for me, to produce some cash right now. But then on the other side, you've got the fear, that little voice in your head saying, man, I'm worried the market could turn and this thing could drop. It's that classic tug of war between wanting more and being afraid to lose what you have. And this right here is where options come into the picture. Seriously, you can forget their complicated reputation for a second. At their very core, options are just tools. And some of the most basic, most common strategies were literally designed to tackle these exact problems head on. So first up, let's tackle that goal of generating some cash. How do you actually get your stocks to start paying you? Well, the classic answer is a strategy called the covered call. A covered call sounds fancy, but it's actually beautiful in its simplicity. It has two key parts. First, you already own the stock. That's the covered part. Your position is covered. Second, you sell a call option against those shares you own. Okay, let's walk through it. Imagine you own 100 shares of a company, and it's trading at, say, $100 a share. You can then sell a call option where you agree to sell your shares at a set price in the future. Let's call it $105. That's called the strike price. Now, just for making that promise, somebody pays you a fee called a premium right here, right now. It goes straight into your account. It's literally like getting paid rent for your stocks. Now, here's the trade-off. There's always a trade-off, right? You absolutely achieve your goal. You get income from that premium. But, and this is a big but, you've just capped your potential profit. If that stock skyrockets to 120, too bad. You still have to sell it at 105. And, just as important, if the stock price falls, you still own it all the way down. That risk doesn't go away.
So what this really means is that a covered call is perfect for when you think your stock is going to stay pretty flat or maybe just drift up a little bit. You're not expecting some massive rally. You're just happy to collect a little income while you wait.
Okay, let's completely switch gears. We've talked about income. Now let's tackle the other side of that dilemma, the fear. What if you're genuinely worried about a market drop and you want to protect what you've got? This next strategy is so good at what it does that it often gets a very simple, very powerful nickname, portfolio insurance. And really, that tells you everything you need to know about its job. The strategy is called a protective put, and I want you to notice the key difference in the language here. Instead of selling an option to collect money, you are now buying an option to get protection. So the mechanics are basically a mirror image of what we just saw. You've got your 100 shares, but this time you buy a put option. This purchase gives you the right, but not the obligation, which is key, to sell your shares at a guaranteed price, maybe $95. Now to get this right, this insurance policy, you have to pay for it. That cost is the premium, and it comes out of your pocket. And just look at the profile here. Your goal was to protect your investment, and that's exactly what you get. Your downside risk is now limited. It can't go below a certain point. And the best part, if you are wrong and the stock actually goes up, you still own the shares and get to enjoy all of that upside. The only thing you're out is the premium you paid for the insurance. So now we've got our two strategies on the table. One is for earning income, and the other is for buying insurance. They're built for totally different mindsets. Let's put them side by side so we can really see how they stack up. This table right here, this is the whole shebang. It brings everything together. If you've got a covered call, you're feeling neutral, maybe a little bullish. Your goal is income, and your trade-off is that you cap your potential gains. On the flip side, with a protective put, you're worried, you're bearish. Your goal is protection, and your trade-off is that you have to pay a premium for that safety. It all comes down to your outlook.
But hold on, there is one last crucial piece to this puzzle. There's a hidden force that's always at play, and it works very differently for the person selling the option versus the person buying it.
And that hidden factor is time itself. Yep, in the options world, it has a specific name, time decay. See, every single option has an expiration date, and just the simple act of time passing affects its value.
So the critical question you have to ask is, does time work for you or does it work against you? Who is actually winning this waiting game?
And here's the answer. It's actually pretty simple. The seller of the option, that's our covered call person, they benefit from time decay. Time is on their side. Every day that passes, the option they sold gets a little less valuable, which is a good thing for them. But the buyer of the option, the person with the protective put, is hurt by time decay. Their insurance policy is slowly, steadily losing a little bit of value every single day, just because the clock is ticking.
So, it all boils down to this one question. Are you playing for income or are you paying for insurance? One strategy is about getting paid to wait, while the other is about paying for peace of mind. You can't have both at the same time. Every single choice in finance is a trade-off. The only question is, what's yours?